Sergeant Essential. 19 Sergeant, check.
We knew this guy was armed. We knew he wasn't scared to shoot. And so we're baby cops. Like, we're excited, but at the same time, like, this is the real deal. I've never been that close to someone that was either had a gun or was about to get a gun. Our very first call together was fighting a naked woman. For some reason, I always catch those calls, and it's not a fun time. Honestly, if it wasn't for me relying on God and believing in God, I don't know how I'd be surviving. I made a promise to myself, no matter how bad a day I'm having, I'm not going to hit it or drink because I'm having a bad day. I didn't sleep for about 8 days because I had constant nightmares. That was my first dead body. That was my first suicide, first hanging, and I'd never been exposed to that. Meth, it jacks up your brain. And fentanyl's on the rise too. No drug is safe. Part of me's scared, and part of me's like, this is the reason I am a police officer, to reach these people. We're just chasing this guy, and it starts getting dangerous. He's blowing stop signs, not slowing down at all. There's no time for mistakes because it can cost us everything. My hands were shaking because of it. I'd never had no adrenaline rush like that.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't stop. I thought, man, was I scared? But I later learned it was just adrenaline. Greater love has no man than this, that he gives his life for his friend. This is the reason I am a police officer, to reach these people.
All right, this is Skeptic's Table. We have Mr. Jesse is here. I think he's here.
What's up?
Yo, yo, yo. Before we get started, make sure you like the video, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We hope you're enjoying it. If you're not, then
Comment and tell us.
yeah. So we have a fun guest with us today. Got a real one, straight up G, and active duty police officer, loves Jesus, and we're going to kind of dig into his story and just have some fun with it. Jesse, you want to, anything you want to say about it?
Just, he's a handsome guy. This is Angel.
What's up, guys?
Mr.
going on, man?
Angel?
How you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Yourself?
Oh, pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Awesome.
So you are an active duty police officer.
Yeah.
We'll just actually he let it off with your active duty and you're a man of faith. So we'll start off there if you want. When did you become a Christian?
Well, I grew up in the church, and I got baptized as a kid around 11, 13 years old, but
You can pull the mic a little closer if you want.
I really didn't understand what I was doing. It wasn't until 2 years ago, I think, I was going through some tough times in life, and like I got away. I was going to church, but wasn't really being active, reading my Bible, praying like I should, and I was going through some tough times. Started leaning on Jesus. Started read my Bible, listen to worship music. I'd been avoiding that left and right, just not doing what I was supposed to, and I had a basically come to Jesus meeting with Jesus, and decided I wanted to be baptized, wanted to rededicate my life, and talked to Pastor Curtis, and we had a few meetings about it, and then I got baptized 2 years ago, and been trying to stay on the right path since then.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been saved since 11 or so
Yes, sir.
and just rededicated
Yes, sir.
recently.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. I needed it. I needed a little wake up call, and that's what I got. And
Sometimes that's what it takes.
yeah.
That's awesome, man. So what, I mean, do you want to dig a little further with his faith, or?
We can go there. Yeah.
Okay. Why Jesus?
Man. So like I said, I grew up in the church. I always believed, and now I've watched YouTube videos, TikTok videos on like, there's no other explanation for certain things happening other than God. Like, there's no a baby. There's no real rhyme or reason how that happens other than God's creating that. And, you know, my parents are great parents are great people of faith, and they just instill that in us. And even at young ages, my mom would just have like Bible studies daily with us, and that's how I learned a lot of the Bible stories, a lot of the depth of what the Bible says. And I've seen my mom survive a stroke, and I've seen just miracles just happen throughout my parents' lives, our lives. And it's like, there's no way Jesus is not real.
Yeah.
And so I've seen the miracles. I've heard other people's testimonies. There's just no denying it.
Yeah. How do you, in one hand, well, I guess how has Jesus affected your everyday career, like as a police officer, compared to, because you said you here recently, you've within the last couple years, you've really kind of rededicated your life to the Lord, right?
Yes, sir.
And so how has work changed since then for you?
It's it's helped me stay afloat, because I see a lot of things. I experienced a lot of negative, bad things.
Yeah.
And honestly, if it wasn't for me relying on God and believing in God, I don't know how I'd be surviving, just because it's just so much negativity all the time, because no one calls the cops because they're having a good day. It's because they're in a crisis, something bad's happening. It's just nothing but negativity. And so and I actually carry a Bible with me. So it's a law enforcement Bible, and I carry it in my patrol car. And sometimes after some calls, I just got to pull it out and read it, use it as a reminder. And
why do you do that? What does it do to you whenever you're reading God's word? Like, it seems like it's almost kind of like instead of hitting the bottle, right, for some relief.
Yeah.
You're finding relief in the Lord.
Exactly.
In that.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm just having a bad day, and I'm just like, I just need to pull it out. And I have it I keep it in my lunchbox, and then I pull it out and keep it in the little side thing in the front door, and I just grab it, open it up, because and that's one thing I promised myself, because I know I grew up around cops my whole life. When I was a kid, this girl, Tamara, she lived down the street from me. Her dad was a sheriff deputy, later on a Freona police officer. A cop lived on the street behind me. My kindergarten teacher, her husband was a state trooper. My best friend in elementary school, his dad was a state trooper. And so I've been around cops, and one thing I noticed is that some of them did hit the bottle pretty hard. And I've seen that in other officers before I became one, and then I've seen it in the ones I work with. And I made a promise to myself, no matter how bad a day I'm having, I'm not going to hit it or drink because I'm having a bad day. Like, I'll go out with some buddies.
Yeah.
I'll have a drink or two. But because I'm having a bad day, or because of some of my experience, I promised myself I would never do that. And so far, I've kept that promise to myself. And so,
if you don't make it the solution, it can't become a problem.
yeah. And so, that Bible kind of keeps me level-headed, gives me a reminder, hey, God's in control. And sometimes I'll listen to Air One on the radio, and that helps me kind of stay level-headed. And
For those who don't know, Air One is a Christian broadcasting
Radio station.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so I just need those constant reminders throughout my shift, just to
I like it.
make sure I stay where I need to stay.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, I imagine that is hard, just seeing, because you work a lot of night shifts, right?
Yeah. I work evening shifts. I work from 3 p.m. to 1 a.m.
So you're seeing a lot of the worst side.
Yeah.
So I imagine that is good to have something to help ground you
Oh, yes, sir.
in the middle of seeing all that.
Yeah. And our shift is the busiest shift. That's kind of when everything goes down between those hours. So we just stay busy all the time, see all sorts of things. And sometimes it can be tough.
Yeah. What is the shifts like? So is it, I know, well, to put things in perspective, this guy is a trooper. He
Yeah.
worked the graveyard shift last night, and here he is today. I'm surprised he's not just hasn't passed out yet. I wouldn't be able to do that. Be like, dude, no, I'm not going to go on a podcast. I'm going to go to sleep.
Yeah.
But we've been trying to pump him with a lot of coffee. So
A lot of caffeine.
yeah,
It's working.
Yeah. So do you work like 4 days on, 4 days off, or is the shifts kind of all over the place?
I work, mine's set. So I work 4 days on, 3 days off. So I'm off I work every Monday through Thursday, and I'm off every Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, you get the
Dude.
weekends off. That's
yeah,
nice.
Finally
That's
got weekends
sweet.
off. But I pick up a lot of extra shifts. So
Yeah.
I've been working a bunch of Fridays, working some Sundays and Saturdays. Just
Gotcha.
wherever there's extra shifts, I just usually pick up.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Just because I don't have a life.
Well,
We
I
don't
think you-
either. So,
yeah, I mean, we don't have a life, but this dude, I mean, you have a life, man. You get to experience some crazy stuff each
Yeah.
and every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, thank you for your service for sure.
yeah.
Thank you.
So while you're on shift, and if you don't want to answer this, it's fine. But do you find that you will minister while on duty to your suspects, or have you ever prayed with any of the people you've arrested, or is that a thing, or is it something you try to navigate politically, or?
I've actually thought about it, but I haven't done it yet. But I feel like it'd be a good way to minister.
Is that something you're allowed to do?
I don't know. I don't
either.
I don't know. Like, as far as I know, there's nothing against it, like a rule saying we can't do that. But I wouldn't see it as a bad thing. I actually thought about doing it the other day with someone, but I also didn't want to get too involved. It was a very touchy situation, so I didn't know. I kind of backed out of that. But I've actually been considering that and thinking about it. Like, that's a good way to minister to people, because the people I deal with or I arrest are the ones that are hurting the most, and probably need to hear Jesus. I do, however, I'll either have Air One on, or I have my have a little worship playlist I listen to at work also on my phone. So normally when I'm taking someone to jail, I'll have that playing, and maybe have them listen to it, and maybe I'll touch them that way. But I've been considering it. I just don't know how to approach it, because when I'm arresting
hard.
them, like they hate me.
Yeah.
They don't, and so it's kind of a hard thing to grasp and know
To
how to
navigate.
work around it. Yeah.
No, I can see that.
And unfortunately, some of the people, whenever I arrest them, most of the time are either high or drunk. So it's like, they don't want to talk to me. They're cussing me out, being combative. So it's like, I can't really have a conversation with them.
Yeah, they're in a totally different state of mind.
Yeah. So, but I have been considering it. The ones that aren't, kind of talk to them. But part of me is scared, and part of me is like, this needs to happen, because
It's a scary thing to do.
I feel like this is the reason I am a police officer, to reach these people, but I just don't know how to go about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What first drew you to want to become a police officer?
So as a kid, I grew up in Freona, Texas, and it's a small little community. But back in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was a rough town. High-speed chases all the time, and they actually used to come down my little street. And
In Freona?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, Freona. It when I was a kid, for a little while, it was going off kind of good. We had a hostage situation, SWAT standoff. Oh yeah, and it's
So it was miniature LA in Texas, huh?
yeah.
Wow.
It was something else. But
Well, for those who are not aware of Freona, like, do you know what the population is?
right now it's about 4,000. Back
Okay.
then it was a little bit less. Wow, it was about 2,000 back then.
Oh, that's a lot less.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Crazy.
but me and my brother would look out our window at night, and we'd see the cops chasing these guys. And my dad, he had a little like a police scanner.
Yeah.
And he'd hear something go on. He'd load all of us 4 kids up on the minivan. We'd go follow the cops, follow the fire department, follow the ambulance. We'd go
That's
see what they're
awesome.
doing. We'd park at a distance and just watch.
Who
And
needs
that
a
was-
TV?
Yeah, and that was all the time.
Wow.
My dad loved it. So that kind of got me interested in it.
Yeah.
And then my Sunday school teacher, her husband was a cop, and he actually, one of the high-speed chases that came down my house, he was involved in, and he actually got killed that night.
Oh,
And I was in the 3rd grade when that happened, so I was about 2003, and I just felt like I owe it to him. Like, he was out doing his job, and he died protecting us. I'm like, I owe it to him. So in 3rd grade, I decided I was going to be a cop because
Wow.
of that guy.
Wow.
And so
Do you want to say his name, or
yeah,
you don't have to? I just
yeah,
didn't know
it was
if you want to honor him.
Joe Herrera.
Joe Herrera.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, and they have like a little like monument memorial thing in the front of the police department that Freona moved their police department from Main Street to a different street. I forget what street it's on now, but whenever I was helping, I used to work for the city of Freona during summer winter break when I was in college, and I actually got to help reset
Move
that
it.
that thing and put it in front of the police
Yeah.
department. So that meant something to me, that this is the guy that
Inspired you.
inspired me, and I get to put his little memorial in front of the police department. And that was pretty cool.
Kind of came full circle there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever told their family about?
I haven't.
Yeah.
His wife, my Sunday school teacher, she's now actually a state trooper. She
Oh, wow.
became a cop not too long after that, and
Man, that's dedication.
I've had her on Facebook, but I don't think I've ever told her.
Man,
I think that'd be something she would
Yeah,
absolutely love.
appreciate hearing.
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. I mean, if I was in her shoes, I would love to hear that.
Yeah.
You know,
I
that,
actually haven't told many people the story of how I wanted to become a police officer.
Yeah.
But I don't think.
Also, that's a lot of courage for a 3rd grader to be like, I saw this guy die. I want to do what he did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
As a 3rd grader, I think I would have been like, staying away from that.
yeah. At 3rd grade, I was, which nostril am I going to pick? You know, that was my thoughts.
yeah, I made that decision way back then, and tried to stay straight so I wouldn't get in trouble, and so I wanted to be a police officer. And yeah,
Man, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
but and it's been a wild ride.
Oh,
It's
man.
been good.
So, Wild Ride. What is the craziest story that you have where that you were on the call for?
You don't
Well-
have to hold back either.
I made cops.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, I was the main officer, but they only got I got 0 camera time. They got my backside, and that was it. All the other guys that were involved got all the camera footage. But I was a rookie, and the guy I was with, the other officer that was behind me, he was also a rookie. We're in the academy together, and we're going to an armed robbery in East Ridge on the northeast side of town. And on the way there, the suspect passes us. And he gets on the radio. I was like, "Did you see that?" I was like, "That's him, right?" He's like, "Yep." I said, "Let's go." So we turn around. We turn on our lights. Dude starts speeding off. Chase is on. We'd never been in a high-speed chase before. It was our first one.
Yeah.
But he was calling it out at first. And we're just, and we didn't really know, when we were brand new, we didn't know some of the town. Well, on the northeast side of town, there's a lot of dips in these streets, and we were hitting a bunch of those at 70, 80 miles an
Oh,
hour.
wow.
Yeah. Our cars were taking a pretty good beating, but we were chasing the car, and at one point, my buddy, his dash cam video caught me because I turned off. I'm like, I want to cut this guy off, and I read it. I read this guy perfectly, and I got within just feet of him. But my buddy, he was going like east to west, and I cut off, and it was going north to south. And you see his dash cam video, see me, and I hit a dip like this, and you should see sparks.
Just flying.
That was pretty crazy. And we're still on the chase trying to get this guy because he robbed the store and then shot at the clerk once. Missed, but he shot. And so we knew this guy was armed. We knew he wasn't scared to shoot. And we're baby cops. Like, we're excited, but at the same time, like, this is the real deal.
Yeah.
Like, there's no time for mistakes because it can cost us everything. And so we're just chasing this guy, and it starts getting dangerous. He's blowing stop signs, not slowing down at all. And of course, we got to like slow down at stop signs and then almost to a complete stop and then keep going. And distance started getting this guy. Then he blew a stop sign going on to Northeast 24th, and that's a busy street. And Sergeant's like, hey, we're going to cut the chase off. He's like, yeah, I got the license plate. We'll work with that. And I noticed towards the end of the chase, my buddy was not behind me no more. I was like, where? I thought he did what I did, cut off and try to cut this dude off, and he was nowhere to be found. And he said something on the radio and gave a location, so I turned around and went to go find him. He was covered head to toe in white. His fire extinguisher, I guess he hit a bump or something, and it went off in the whole car.
Oh, gosh.
And so his whole car was covered in white. He was covered in white. Some old lady's trying to give him some towels to clean off, and yeah, it was something else. I was like, well, and then my hands were shaking because I'd never had no adrenaline rush like that.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't stop. I thought, man, was I scared? But I later learned it was just adrenaline. I was amped up, chasing a dude, and we ended up going to the registered owner's house, and it was their son, and he was at the Padre football game, and we ended up talking him to coming back, and we arrested him, and there was him and two others, but he wouldn't tell us who the two other guys were. So, but he ended up going to jail for it, and I made it on season 31 of Cops. So, but really, my back and my butt did, and my legs. But that was
So if anybody wants to see the rear end of Angel,
yeah,
season 31 of the Cops.
it's very flat.
Well, I didn't know how to plug this, and Angel did not tell me to say this, but we were talking before we started recording. Ladies, I read these comments online all the time about there's no good men out there anymore. Well, we have a
Here's
very
one right
good man
here.
right here that's single. Just saying. Anyways, just had a plug for him.
Appreciate that.
Man, that's awesome. Cops,
Yeah.
you were on Cops.
Yeah, and that was probably like my first like crazy deal. But I've had a few other crazy calls. It's just hard to think of
Yeah.
which one. But actually, earlier this week, a guy just got sentenced to, I think, 13, 15, 18 years prison, maybe 15. And he was at a hotel, had his wife hostage, or we were told she was being held against her will, but he did have a gun, and we met him in the parking lot, or went to their hotel room. He was inside shirtless, and she was inside the room, and so I was like, "Hey, come out," because it was a domestic fight, and the parking lot is what it came out as. And so we have her come out, make sure she's safe, and I go to the guy, and he like kind of bows up to me, and he's at there's two beds in the hotel, and he's at the far one by the bathroom. And I walk about halfway in there. I'm like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And he doesn't want me in there, wants me out. And I made the mistake of asking him, "Where's the gun?" And all he says is, "Why?" I'm like, "Where's the gun? Why?" And we just kept kind of going back and forth. And finally, I'm just like, "Where is it?" And he looks at me and runs to the bathroom and locks the door. So that I run out. I draw my pistol and I run out. And I got two other guys with me. And I'm like, "Hey, pull back, get behind take cover." And he ended up barricaded for about 2, maybe 3 hours. And he was smoking marijuana, drinking. He was high and drunk. And we ended up finally talking him out, and found the gun in the bathroom. So I don't know if he put it there if he had it on him when he ran back there, or if that's where he had it and he was going to go get it to get us. But that was in July of 2022. In October 2022, similar incident, hotel right next door, same guy. This time he has his wife hostage, and we ended up getting her out of there, and we had to call a SWAT team. He barricaded himself, actually shot at our SWAT team, and I think we shot him with beanbag rounds and then tear gas, and we ended up getting him out, and he just got sentenced 3 days ago.
Man.
And but that was crazy. That first call, the one in July, was crazy for me because I'd never been that close to someone that was either had a gun or was about to get a gun, and I was right there, and I was like, oh, I need to back up. And our communication, me and the two guys, like, we're like, hey, let's stay shoulder to shoulder, make sure we all got line of fire, no one's in front of the other, so we don't make sure we don't shoot each other. And our communication was good. We called our sergeant. We called other guys in that can kind of like CIT or crisis intervention team is really good at talking to people and trying to get them to come out. And we got all those guys out there, and we handled it pretty good for being newer officers. But that was really intense. As I'd never been in a situation like that, and we had a truck, a Ford at like F-150, blocking us, and that was our only cover. Like, and so that was kind of nerve wracking too. But
yeah, I try not to let Fords protect my life either.
not the most reliable.
So he was shirtless whenever you went in there on that first call. So that just brings up my next question. I didn't have this in plan, but how often do you deal with naked suspects?
A lot. For some reason, I always catch those calls, and it's not a fun time.
You need to talk to the dispatcher. I feel like they know
I
this.
feel like it's always, I'm like,
Just give it to Angel. He'll do it.
Yeah.
well, even one of my dispatchers texts me. She's like, "It's always you." I'm like, "I know." Like, I'm not. It's not a fun time. I'm not proud of it, but
I'll have to talk to Kiefer, see if they got a pool going on about
Right.
about that.
well, actually, me and my current partner now, he was a rookie. He was still in field training, and so he was riding with what we call an FTO, field training officer, and he was basically on the job learning, riding with the superior officer. And our first call, I've heard of his name, but I hadn't met him yet at this point. And our very first call together was fighting a naked woman. She was trespassing at her ex-girlfriend's house, and she was higher than a kite. And she was in the shower, and we're like, hey, we kept knocking on the bathroom door, like, get out, you need to get out. And finally, and she would never do it. And so we kind of look at each other, and we're like, we gotta go in there and get her. So we go in. Thankfully she was drying off. I'm like, hey, get some clothes on, and then she started kind of running out. It's like, well, now we got to grab her. So we grabbed her, trying to handcuff her, and of course she was still pretty wet, slippery, and it was awful. We were fighting in the house, We went from the living room, kitchen area, all the way out the front door, fighting in the front porch, on the sidewalk, and finally we get her handcuffed, and she was slippery. We couldn't like get a good grasp on her, and she was just.
It sounds a lot like
Awful.
Sam's bachelor party.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it was not a fun time, but yeah, I've run into a lot of naked people. We had a call over the winter. Some guy walking around naked. I'm like, he probably just got shorts on, and it's dark, they can't see it. Nope, he was with a shirt, no pants, no underwear, just walking down 6th Street. I was like,
Middle of winter?
yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah. It was like, I'm like, come on, y'all. But he was so high.
Couldn't tell.
He was hot.
body temp,
yeah,
yep.
he was hot, and so I was like, we ended up taking him to jail for that, and then I had a naked guy at Meddy Park, and
Man,
he was soaked head to toe. He was in a little creek and started walking towards me, and I was like, I'm not about to touch you. I pulled up my taser, and now you keep your distance away. I'll let the CIT officers deal with you. And they did. They loaded him up in their car. Like, I'm not trying to have that.
Well, Jesse, we can't do our plan now. We was
know.
gonna fish naked at Meddy Park.
Now we know Angel's going to show up.
I
So,
know.
by the way, ladies, the ones that were interested in Angel, just disregard these stories.
Yeah. Man. I don't know if you ever read stories about situations where death is possible, and when humans in these scenarios, they demonstrate like almost supernatural strength or supernatural intuition. Has there ever been a situation like that where it just something supernatural, whether it be strength or maybe where
Your thought process.
where you felt that was not me. That was something different, but whatever it was, thank you, God, you know?
Yeah. I've had that a couple of times. There was one time I was chasing a guy. I was in a foot chase chasing a guy by I-40 in Washington, and we start running down the access road. Then we go across the westbound lanes of I-40, and then the concrete barrier. It's taller than I am, way bigger than me, and somehow I cleared it like nothing. And I was
Man.
like, yeah, I'll just hop right over it, and I'm like, I can't jump like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I remember seeing a blue blob coming, and that was a semi on the eastbound lanes, and I just kept I sprinted as fast as I could. Like, I'm not trying to get ran over for this guy, and ended up tasing him and getting him down and arresting him. But clearing that concrete barrier, I was like,
Well, especially in full gear.
yeah, I'll say that belt weighs about 35 pounds, plus the vest, plus the boots, and you're just not as agile as like I can move so much easier just jeans and a t-shirt
Yeah.
than I can that. And it's just, the way I cleared it, it's like, yeah, there's no way that could ever happen again.
Maybe that's why your suspects like to fight naked. They're more agile.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And if they're wet and slippery, yeah, I really can't catch them. But yeah, and speaking of supernatural, there was one time I got called to a house for ghosts, and they're like, yeah, and they were describing things. I was like, yeah, that sounds about. I'm like, I don't know why you're calling the cops. I can't do nothing.
You need to call a priest.
Yeah,
No,
like,
I mean, it's pretty obvious. Should have called Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I'm not. Yeah, we're not Ghostbusters. And like, yeah, if y'all want to go to the attic, I'm not trying to go to your attic. And I explained. I stayed on their porch, so I never went inside the house. I'm like, I can't do nothing for you. Like, this is not a police matter. I just didn't want to go in there neither. But,
Yeah.
I mean, if I did, like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So,
See, and there's a good reason I'm not a cop, because in a situation like that, I'm smart aleck. So I'd have been like, oh man, back in 1967, there was a triple homicide here. And
you start scared.
yeah. How many ghosts are there? Are there 3? Like,
I would have walked in doing this. Dun, 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 the Ghostbusters.
Just going in singing. Oh,
Man.
we had a guy die in the house, and he was there for a while, and there was flies and all that within the house, and the whole house stunk of dead body, and he had no family in town, so his house just kind of just stayed there.
was this just a wellness check? Yeah.
Yeah, some neighbors hadn't seen him in a while, and we'd check it out, like, oh yeah, that's what's happening. So we had to force our way inside the house and all that, but it was a decent house in a really nice neighborhood. And I told my buddy, I'm like, hey, it's a big enough house. I was like, maybe we can go half, like your wife and your kids, half the house. I'll have the other half. Like, I said, I bet you we can get a good price on it, because we know what happened here. Like, maybe we can talk them down at least like 10,000, maybe 20,000. we can wheel and deal, because we know what's going on. And I know the carpet needs to be replaced, the walls need to be replaced, because this thing is not going anywhere. Like, maybe we can wheel and deal and use.
Did you
this
tell
to
him
our
that's his
advantage.
half of the house?
Yeah. Yeah. He keeps that side where we found the guy.
Man.
You kind of got to have that kind of humor working
Yeah.
in this type of profession, though.
Yeah, I said we have a lot of dark humor, and me and my buddy, we say a lot of things, and that probably shouldn't be said. But even on scene, thankfully no family heard me. But there was like a 90-year-old grandma that died, and we were working that, and the coroner came in, loaded up the body, and she had glasses, and zipped her up, and the family wanted to see her one last time before the coroner took her. And I was a distance away, me and my buddy were, and the coroner unzips her face and shows the family, and he's like, do y'all want her glasses? And underneath my breath, I'm like, she can't see without her glasses. And I was quoting My Girl.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, my buddy just elbowed me, like, dude, I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. But it's like things like that where you have to.
You have to stay
It's
sane.
like a way of kind of like process things. I've never like I didn't think I knew being a cop was going to be crazy. We'd come across some deaths here and there, but I didn't realize how many dead bodies I would come across
Yeah.
doing this job, and it's like quite a bit. No, some natural deaths, some homicides, some suicides, and
That was going to be my next question. Like, is that probably the hardest job of policing, or
yeah, I think so. I think dealing with deaths,
or not the hardest job, hardest part of
Yeah.
policing? Yeah.
and I struggle a little bit because I've had 2 pediatric deaths. I had a 3-year-old die in a drowning, and then
Oh, yeah.
a 1-year-old rolled on his stomach and suffocated himself on the couch, and it's just like it's the kids that bother you.
Yeah. That terrifies me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
I
like,
can't tell you how many times I wake up in the middle of the night and just go check
yeah,
because for whatever reason, sometimes it's a bad dream. Sometimes you just get
Yeah.
get that feeling.
that feeling and you just go check. Just, I don't know. That terrifies me.
It's worse whenever you have kids, man. Like it bothered me before I had kids, but when you have kids, then when you said that 3-year-old, I have a 3-year-old, and so I'm like, you just can't help intrusive thought, picturing your 3-year-old in that situation.
Yeah.
So it affects you totally different.
And so, yeah, right now I have no kids, nothing like that, and I'm kind of thankful because I feel like I would do the same thing, and it would just make it that much harder. But yeah,
Wait a minute. Single, no kids, police officer, got a great career. Man, ladies.
Good looking. Nope. There's no baggage. I mean, here we go.
Man.
but
He is missing a left pinky toe, but no, I'm kidding.
got an extra finger.
Right. Man.
But yeah, for some reason, the calls that bother me the most, I guess, are suicides. And I think it stems back from college. There was this girl that I knew, and I think it was my senior year of college. She hung herself. I never saw her in that, but
State.
it's just, you do that mental imaging, and it's like, wow. And it's like, that's someone that I knew. I saw her in the cafeteria the night before, and it's just like, no one knew she was struggling that bad. And then when I was in the academy, so I hadn't even graduated the academy, I had some roommates who were living together, and our neighbor, I heard screaming, some lady yelling for help, and so I jump out. I'm out there. I see this lady running, screaming for help. I'm thinking she's being chased, so I kind of go into fight mode, chase her down, and I follow her into a half-open garage. And when she runs in there, I follow in behind, and then I see this lady hanging by a dog leash. And that was the first time I'd seen a dead body aside from a funeral.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was still in the academy, so I hadn't really been exposed to too much yet, and I was in a shock. And another neighbor saw it, and he's like, "Hey, let's cut her down." I'm like, "We'll have her cut her down. I'm gonna need you to help me catch her." He's like, "No, you got this." And I was like, "No, I don't." And he ended up cutting her. I couldn't catch her, and she fell. Like, there was like a car in there with like the engine and all that out, and she fell right in there. And so I'm trying to lift her up, pull her out, and it was that dead weight.
Yeah.
She was heavy, and over my shoulder, like, police were called quick, and a police officer who's now one of my good friends jumped over my shoulder, and another officer showed up, and all of us were trying to pull her out, and we had to wait till the fire and EMS showed up. We needed that many people to pull her out of that area of the car onto the ground, and she didn't make it. And then the sad part about that was
she still alive when y'all cut her down?
the neighbor said he felt the pulse. I think he felt his own pulse. I think she'd been there for a little bit anyway. And it was just wild. Like, it was.
What's going through your mind right now?
Yeah.
You could see it rotating.
Yeah, well, that was my first dead body. That was my first suicide, first hanging, and I'd never been exposed to that. I didn't sleep for about 8 days because I had constant nightmares. And one of my roommates at the time, he was going to college for his master's in art, and so he was doing a bunch of art stuff, and he was going to try and experiment with clothes. Well, we had a garage, and he was working on a vest, and he did some stuff to it where he was hanging it in the middle of the garage for it to dry, and I didn't know that. And so I walk into the garage and I see the shadow of something hanging down, and I froze, and I screamed. I think it was Cody was the roommate that was doing the art stuff. Daniel was my other roommate, and he was in pharmacy school. Cody was gone, so I screamed Daniel's name because I couldn't move. I was frozen where I was at, and he came running. I'm like, dude, there's something hanging in the garage, and like I don't. And so he flipped on the light, and it was that vest, and he realized, oh shoot, like that's from a week ago.
That's trauma, yeah.
Is jacking you up already, and I think I was in the academy. One of the sergeants that had taught in our academy was the sergeant that responded to that. And he's like, hey, do you want to talk to some of our academy guys and let them know what's going on? And I'm like, yeah. Like he's like, yeah, it's good to talk about it. So I did. And I got berated. I got made fun of. They're like, oh, she died because of you. And like they were just joking around, making fun of it. And I was like, I'm never opening up to anybody again. And I didn't for years up until about 2 years ago. I started talking about I have two buddies of mine I talk about my trauma to, because it's just, I got to let it out.
Yeah.
But like, that was the first time I opened up to someone about something like that. And my first time experiencing trauma like that. And I got
hammered.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, like, this is why no one talks about anything, because of that right there. And I was like, those are my academy mates. Like, those are the guys that we're going to be out there together.
Yeah.
They're supposed to have my back. And the time I needed them, I didn't have that, and that was kind of a kick in the gut.
When you said that, so in the academy, do they try to teach the psychology part of it, of being a police officer, like how to manage your emotions in those situations? Because it seems like when you opened up to the other police officers and they're just, they were joking. I don't think it sounds like they didn't mean anything bad, but the way that it just was inappropriate. You're opening up to them and trying to process this right in your mind.
Yeah.
Do they teach you like how to deal with situations like that?
Not really.
No?
So there's like a health class, and it's like managing stress, and it says like find a hobby, work out, eat healthy, kind of that deal. They really don't. At least when I was in the academy, I don't know if it's changed since then, but when I was in there, they don't really talk about mental health. I didn't even know. Well, I knew I was going to see some stuff, but I didn't realize how much they didn't talk about trauma, how you're going to experience it. And it's like, I wish the guys that were getting me prepared to be in the academy, like other officers from different agencies, I wish they would have given me a heads up on, hey, this is probably going to happen. This is how you like talk about it. Find someone that, like, they never told me any of that. And so I kind of went in blind. And so there's some people I've recruited to get in the academy and stuff. And that's one thing I tell them. I'm like, hey, if you need to talk about it,
take care of your mind.
Yeah, come to me or find someone you want to talk to. And even some of these rookies, when we go on calls, I'm like, hey, like, I know you're not, because I'm not a training officer at all. That's way too much responsibility I don't want to take on. But I'll tell them, hey, man, if like that bothers you, tell somebody. Like, talk about it, because I bottled a lot of things in for years, and it made me bitter. I hated. I love people. I'm a big people person. I hated people. I was sitting at home by myself, just doing nothing. And even my mom, I said something one time. I think it was part of my dark humor that I said. And I think just the way I was acting, she's like, you're not the same son I raised. She's like, this job has hardened your heart. And I was like, yeah, I think it has. And then that was when I wasn't living the way I should. But now, since, I've rededicated my life to Jesus and trying to follow the way I should, it's helped out a lot. And I still struggle in some spots. And there are times I have a hard heart towards certain people in certain situations, but I'm trying to not be that way and get that fixed up. But it does change you a little bit. And they tell you like, hey, the job's going to change you. And they say that's part of why first responders have such a high divorce rate, because you're not the same person that person married. You change, and not in a good way, But some guys, they can stay the same way and it not affect them.
Yeah.
And I wish I could be like that.
Well, I'm glad you said that you still struggle. You know, I mean, I feel like there's this Christian culture that it's people, you know, the Christians are, especially being around other people in the church, and they're afraid to say that they're struggling with something. You know, it's like
They portray perfection a lot.
yeah, and it's bullshit. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, we are all freaking struggling, and we're going to continue to struggle. That's just part of living in a sinful world, you know? So it's okay that you're struggling, man, because we are all struggling, and every person that's listening to this, the 22 people, no, they're struggling as well.
Yeah.
So,
And when I was injured, they put me on a Monday through Friday 8 to 5 schedule. I hated it. I'm not a morning person, hate getting up early. But it opened up room for me to join a life group on Wednesday nights. And that's how we met.
That is how we met.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell the story of your first time coming to the life group?
Oh, yes. So
I think is this, you've told me this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
So one of my fellow police officers, who we also go to church with, I asked him, "Hey man, I heard you're in a life group." I said, I'll go to church on Sunday, but I mean, it's just on Sunday. So I didn't really know anybody other than a couple people here and there. It's like, hey, I want to get plugged in. I want to know some more people in the church. I was like, I can be in a life group now. So I want to be in one. And I'm like, I hear you're in one. I kind of want to be with you since I know you. And he's like, yeah. He's like, it's at 6:00, this address. I'm like, cool. So I show up early everywhere I go. It's just a habit I learned from my dad. And so I showed up like 5:45, and at this house I don't know who the people are. Well, actually, I thought it might have been Kiefer's house, but it turns out it wasn't. So I knock, nothing. I was like, well, it starts in 15 minutes and no one's here. So I keep knocking, and I hear some yelling in the back. But I thought, and I can tell it's a woman, and I'm like, oh, some kid's getting it. Like, some kid just acted up, and mom is all over that. And I was like, oh, good. I'm like mom's doing her job, sweet. So I keep knocking, nothing. I'm like, man, this kid's really getting in trouble. She didn't even have time to open the door. And so I'm just sitting there waiting. I got my Bible in hand, and I think I have like a little notebook too for notes. And so I'm just sitting there, standing at the door, knocking, waiting. And finally I knock again after, I think, standing there for maybe 10 minutes. And Whitney opens up the door, and she's like, "What do you want?" Or I think that's what I forgot what she said. Something along those like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "I'm here for the life group," and she's like, "Oh my gosh!" And her husband Don, I think, was behind her with the hammer,
He had a
hammer in hand, ready to take me out, and she's like, "Oh my gosh!" She's like, "I'm so sorry." I was like, "No, you're fine." She's like, and she felt really bad. She invited me inside the house. They thought I was a salesman, and they thought my Bible was a clipboard.
Oh no!
And they were getting their kids ready to take them to the church for the kids deal. And so they're trying to get the kids ready, and they thought I'm just some salesman trying to show up and sell
Also,
something.
Can we just say something real quick? Like, I have salespeople come to my house. I've never thought of bringing a hammer to the door.
Yeah. But how many have you ever had a 5'3" short Hispanic guy with a mustache at your door for 10 minutes, not giving up?
It's just a persistent salesman,
Yeah,
I
I guess
guess.
so.
I mean,
I was like, man. And she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, please don't tell anyone about this. I'm like, I won't say nothing. I said, it's our little secret. I didn't say nothing. She went on ahead and told people about it. I was like, okay. So if you want to, go for it. But
the funny part was her and her husband were talking about calling the cops. Little did they know the cop was at their door, trying to get into learn about Jesus.
Maybe the husband thought you were Sancho.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
maybe.
That is true.
That explains the hammer.
Yep.
So if anybody wants to join our life group, there is an initiation.
Right. But no, being in that life group was probably the best thing ever because I met Jesse, met Leah, and I met so many other people, and it's like now I have, like, it's like church family, because I'm a very social guy, but in different settings, I can also be a very shy guy. And at church, I was shy, and still to this day, I sit in the very back row,
Me too.
and like, I didn't really talk to anybody. I knew some people here and there. I'd say hi, and that was that. But now at this life group, I see familiar faces, and then from them, I've met other people in the church, and so it's nice. And I definitely do miss that, because now all I do is Sundays.
Yeah.
Because you're back at work. and
Yeah, I'm back on my
scheduled.
regular schedule, and it's like, sometimes I wish I could go to life group, because some of the stuff that I deal with, I want to talk to church people about, like, hey,
Yeah.
can I get prayer for this? This is what I'm dealing with, and I don't get to have that, and so it's kind of rough. And then I don't want to just be at church and like just lay something on somebody and just like tell them, hey, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
But
We should start our own for Fridays, because I don't go because of my work schedule.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
That's what I was about to say. Or start one for police officers.
Yeah, that is true. And I have Kiefer, and he's a great guy, but I also feel bad for just like, I don't know, he's got his own police stuff he's dealing with, got his family and church and all that. And so I don't want to. I feel like I have so much going on that I feel like I'm just like a burden. So I don't want to just lay it on somebody. But yeah, there's times I wish, because I used to open up with the life group. We'd talk about our personal lives and do that. It's like, man, I really miss having that. But
I struggle with that too, and I don't like that about me. Is that feeling like you're a burden to someone else, and I don't know how to.
You really are. I mean,
Well, see, I am.
and I know I'm not, but it's just I feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
I think we
totally
all
get
do.
it.
That's a man thing. I think
Yeah.
we're the ones that are supposed to solve the problems, not
And then
be the problem.
Yeah. But I think it's unhealthy. It is for me. It's unhealthy for me.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as a police officer, like, I'm supposed to be the answer for everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to have the answers for everything. And then it's like, but I'm over here with all these questions and
that's not
doubts and
realistic.
stuff.
But
Yeah.
societally, that's how it's viewed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But and I got a couple of police officer buddies, one with Canyon PD, one with APD, and they're Christian guys. We pray for each other, and they deal with the same stuff I deal with: PTSD, anxiety, depression, and these are the guys. Like, they're the first two men I've ever men that I've opened up to. Like, girls, it's easier. Like, I got that close girl best friend that I can just lay things on, and she's cool with it. But guys, it's harder to open up to other guys. But these guys, they've opened up to me. I've opened up to them. We've cried together, and it's like that builds like a really strong bond.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's healthy.
Yeah. And so I got them too. But sometimes I just wish I had that with the church. Which I go to a great church. It's just I don't get to see them on that way.
Yeah.
And so
That is the struggle. With a lot of different churches, but that is the struggle specifically with our church. I think is it's grown so fast that we're somewhere in the middle of that small church, like everybody knows each other feel, and the big church where you don't know anybody feel.
Yeah.
And it's a weird mix right now, just because it's grown so quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel the same way though.
Yeah. And of course, I'm on there on Sundays. I'm there for a service, and then I'm working the second service. So it's not like I get to just sit there and talk with everybody. I got to get ready and start working the second service and start doing what I need to do and doing all that. So it kind of cuts into the socializing, talking time that I wish I could keep. But
Yeah, you're probably like one of the few that I do talk to at church, because I'm terrible at that. Around a lot of people, I don't like being around a lot of people. And so I always feel awkward. You're like, oh, hey, how you doing? I'm like, hey, good, man. Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, and I don't know who I told. I think it was one of the pastors, but I'm like, we need name tags, because they're like, hey, Angel, and I'm like, I don't know your
What's
name.
up, buddy?
Yeah, I was like, hey, how's it going? And I don't remember their name. I was like, if we had little name tags, it'd be a lot easier than I could do that. But
Yeah.
that feels so bad, like, how's everything going? And I was like, man, I don't remember your name. Like, I want to say their name, but I have no clue who they are.
Yeah.
So,
Just call them by the wrong name. It's
yeah.
I mean,
And I'm awful with names too. Like, if I could just see it on a name tag, that would be so much easier.
Or like the old school Baptist used to be. Hey, brother.
yeah.
Just call
Yeah.
everybody brother.
Yeah.
Brother or sister.
I mean, there's a reason they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Didn't have to memorize names. Is there anything specifically to the Amarillo area that is of concern of possible rise in crime, or is it fentanyl, any particular drugs that is like one of the big issues that you guys are facing?
Yeah. Fentanyl and meth. And
Yeah.
meth is because it's a cheap drug. It's easy to make. But that, like, I deal with a lot of schizophrenic people, kind of the bipolar stuff, like mental health thing, but it's not natural. It's meth induced. And because meth, cocaine, it gets you hyped up, but it jacks up your heart. Meth, it jacks up your brain.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many, like we call it, like, all their brains fried, to where, like, they don't know what's going on. Hardly they know enough to eat, sleep, and get
find more
clothes,
meth.
Get high.
and that's it. Yeah, and it's sad because there are some really good people, and like, I started kind of dealing with them with little things here and there, and then they get on that meth and they just go downhill real fast. And I don't know if it's just my parents age well, because they're a little up there, but they look way younger than their age. And I'll arrest guys my mom's age or my dad's age, and they look 30 years older than my dad. And it's just like it deteriorates your body so fast. But yeah, meth, it's a big issue.
Big issue.
And fentanyl's on the rise too. I just took a guy to the pavilion the other day, and he's like, yeah, it's like, I met this girl at this hotel, and she shot me up with some fentanyl, and then he started hallucinating in my backseat of my patrol car. He's like, oh, they're crawling all over my skin. He's like, I can't breathe, and he was just freaking out, but he was hallucinating. He was like kicking at people that weren't even there, and he was just going through a little trip, and I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
But I mean, he wanted to get high, but yeah, fentanyl's rough. I've seen a few fentanyl overdoses.
Do y'all carry Narcan with y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just got recently. We got some more Narcan. For like 3 years ago, we got a little thing of it, and then they took it away from us a year after that. I don't know if it was like cause I think it expired, but I guess we're on some sort of grant, and we didn't get that grant money, so none of us had it. And I guess we got it again this year. So,
Okay.
but we only get one little dose, and after that, we got to go tell our sergeant, get a new one, and kind of go from there. But even like marijuana is not safe, which I've never
Because they're lacing it.
Yeah, they're lacing it with fentanyl, they're lacing it with all sorts of stuff, and we've got these teenage kids, unconscious, not responsive, not breathing. We've had to do CPR a few times on these teenagers. They think they're just smoking marijuana, and it's a whole lot more than that, and they don't realize it.
Yeah.
And so far all of them have been revived and are still alive, but it's we got lucky we got there when we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, of course it's illegal, but like no drug is safe because they're lacing everything with everything. They're just mixing all up now at this point, and it's just got overdoses. And
Well, that kind of prompts the question: do you think legalization here in the state would curb those laced marijuana of fentanyl? Do you think it would be better for society as a whole here in Texas? We know New Mexico's legal. And the federal government here recently, I think President Trump mentioned that they've been talking about lowering,
Reclassifying it.
reclassifying. I think it's type 1 right now. I think looking at going to type 3. Do you think, I'm just curious, do you think it would be helpful? Obviously there's downfalls.
Yeah.
It can be abused still, right? But would it, in those situations, right, instead of having these drugs, because they're going to buy the drugs regardless,
Yeah.
right, marijuana, taking away that component of potential laced with some other drug that could kill you, you know?
You saying just because they'd be regulated?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, because maybe, but I'm not sure, because it's the dealers that are lacing it all up. So
Right.
if they want to, you know, it's like they almost want to try to hurt these other people, but then that's their customer. So it's really hard to say.
Yeah.
I really couldn't tell you. I feel
Gotcha.
like maybe it would, since it would be regulated, but then these guys can still
do it.
Yeah, still do it. So
Yeah.
I really couldn't tell you. I have no idea, but I didn't start seeing laced marijuana until about 3, maybe 4 years ago. And I was like, wow, they can do that. And even like this one kid, he was having hallucinations, and he said that demons were after him and all that. And I talked to his grandpa he was living with. I'm like, hey, what all did he take? Like, he just smokes marijuana. And that's when I first ran into laced marijuana. It was lace, and that's when all the hallucinations started. And that kid, he got that super strength too, because we're trying to hold him down, and it took about 5 of us to hold him down, handcuff him, because we're just taking him to the pavilion. But I mean, he was putting up a fight with us, and he wasn't big. I mean, he was taller than me. He was about maybe 5'10" to 6 foot. But he was skinny. But he had that super strength at the time, and he was a tough fight to put down and get handcuffed. But yeah, it just has different effects on different people.
Yeah.
It's still scary.
Yeah. And then these young kids are getting their hands on it, and they have no clue what they're doing, and it's a little scary seeing how young these kids are getting their hands on those kind of drugs. But
Man.
Jesse?
Well, why don't we take a quick break and come back, and we'll get into the After Hours with Angel.
let's do it.
Is transitioning? No. No, ladies, don't worry. He's not going to be transitioning. We'll be right back.
All right, we are back after our break. Bladder's empty, stomach's full. I've got one more story that you've told me before that I'd like you to share with everybody if you want to, but it was about you going to check your mail at like 2 a.m.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we'll do that one.
Okay.
So I gotten off of work late. So normally I get off at 1 a.m. It was a late night that night, so I got off around 2 or 2:30, and where I live, it's like a community mailbox. So there's like these little cubbies, kind of like P.O. boxes, right at the front of the entrance of our little neighborhood. And I had a package come in, and I forgot what the package was, but I was really excited about it, looking forward to having it. And I change right now I change at home because our locker room's getting remodeled. But before, I would go to work in regular clothes, and then I would change at the locker room, get ready for work. And then after work, I would change down in the locker room, get regular clothes on. Well, it was wintertime, but my heater works really good in my car. So I wore a beanie, a wife beater shirt, and sweats. Being a Hispanic male with a mustache, I look like I'm trouble. And I had a necklace on, and that really didn't help the situation. And so I'm at the mailbox, getting my package, and I see a Recounting County deputy. So I live out in the county. He drives by, spotlights me, and then keeps going. And then he stops and puts it in reverse, and I get excited. I'm like, oh, it's one of my buddies, because I had some Randall County buddies. I'm like, oh, who is it?
Yeah.
And some guy gets out. I don't recognize him. And the first thing he said was, it's a little late to be delivering mail, isn't it? And I was like, no, I'm not delivering mail. I said, I'm getting my mail. He's like, 2:30 in the morning? I'm like, yeah, I just got off of work. And he's like, where do you work? I'm like, I'm a police officer with APD. And he looks at me and throws his head back. He's like, really? And he didn't believe me. He thought I was blowing smoke. So I was like, yeah. He's like, all right. He's like, you got your ID on you? So I gave him my police ID and my driver's license. And he's like, all right. So I'm already out of the car by this point. And it was 20 degrees outside, by the way. It was wintertime. And he's like, all right, sit down, cross your feet, put your hands behind your back, don't move. I was like, oh. So me being a cop, I know it's easier to comply than to argue. So I just do as he says, cross my feet, sit down, hands behind my back, and he's running me for warrants. Like, he does not, I guess he thought my police ID was fake. And so he's running me for warrants. And then one of my other Randall County buddies that's working that night hears my name being ran. And he's like, hey, leave that guy alone. He's APD. And I hear him say it over the radio. And he's like, oh, man, I'm sorry. I'm like, you're sorry, man. I just told you what I was doing, and I gave you my ID. Like, what do you mean you're sorry? I didn't say that, but
and you were doing nothing wrong.
yeah, I'll just get my
checking your mail.
Yeah, checking my mail. He's like, we've had a lot of break-ins and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I know, but
how many of those burglars had a police ID?
yeah, I'm like, and he saw me pull, like I just pulled in, and for the mailbox you have to have a key.
Yeah,
I'm like, I got my key, and so. And
do you know this guy still?
The guy that stopped me?
Yeah.
No, but from what I've heard, he's no longer working there.
Oh.
I guess they had some problems with him, and he left, went to a different agency or something like that.
Good.
Yeah.
When he told me this
Exactly
story
what I
for the
was
first
thinking.
time, this pissed me off so freaking much, dude.
Yeah.
And you are a much better man than I
Yeah.
am.
Well, and I told a couple of my buddies about it. They were pissed. Like, hey, you need to go complain. I'm like, it is what it is. I'm a very laid back guy.
Yeah.
Some stuff bothers me. Some stuff I'm like, it is what it is. But it kind of got me about 5, maybe 6 months later. He was training a rookie and pulled me over for I didn't know my brake light was out. And he pulled me over for my brake light being out. And I'm 2 houses down from my house. And his rookie walks up, introduced himself, telling me why he stopped me. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, then he walks up and he's listening to what his rookie's saying. And he looks at me. He's like, you look familiar. And I was like, yeah, you stopped me over there by the mailboxes way back when. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, traffic stops usually last about 7 to 8 minutes. This one lasted 15. I was 2 houses down, and I was there sitting there for 15 minutes. I'm like, what are these? What's going on? Like, it shouldn't last this long. Even with the rookie, it shouldn't last this long. And I sat there for 15 minutes. He gave me my ID and my warning, and they wrote things on there. Like, it was a triplicate form. So there's a white copy, a hard copy, which they keep.
Mm-hmm.
I got the yellow copy of it, and they wrote it so light I couldn't read the name of the officer on there, and like you could barely read. Like they wrote this light on purpose because they didn't want me to. But for 15 minutes, I was like, dude, this is unnecessary. But
yeah, sounds like he's got other issues to deal with.
yeah, I was like, you know what? I told my buddies about that one, and like, dude, say something. He's like, he's obviously after you. I'm like, no, I said, like, well, he has no reason to be after me, and I'm like, what's it gonna do? Just gonna get this guy more upset. Like, I'm just gonna leave it. Like, I gotta pick my battles, and this one I'm not gonna worry about. And then I found out he doesn't even work there anymore. So
sounds like it caught up to him.
Yeah, I guess one of the guys, one of my county buddies, of course the the guy that told him to leave me alone that I'm APD. I saw him the next day. I'm like, hey man, I said, so I saw you heard me get stopped. He's like, yeah, dude. He's like, I'm sorry about that. It's like that guy kind of has like this attitude. I'm like, hey, it is what it is. He's like, but you showed him your ID and all that, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, he should have let you go the second he saw that. I said most of us would have, but I'm like, you just never know. I said it doesn't bother me at all. Then a different county buddy's like, yeah, that guy got like he doesn't work here no more, and he's like, I said, and he told me that he didn't like him, but I was like, yeah, you know, I guess he had his own little set of issues, but I was like, it doesn't bother me none. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was like twice in the same year. I was like, really, dude? And when he had me sit down on the floor and like cross my feet, I'm like, dude, can I just sit in your car? Like, you got the heater on. I'm cold. It's 20 degrees. I'm in a wife beater. Got no jacket. I'm like, it's kind of cold out here, but thankfully I wasn't sitting down for too long.
Man.
But yeah, that happened to me. I was like, of course. I'm like, it's because
it's kind of funny just because
it's really
of the
funny.
scenario, but it's also bullshit.
Yeah, I'm like, I look like a suspect outside of work. Like the way, especially dressing with the beanie, wife beater, sweats. I'm like, I look like a suspect. I know I do.
I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
I'm just pissed off right now just hearing this.
Yeah.
That ticks me off that they did that to you.
Yeah.
And they're lucky that you didn't, pursue that because, you could be a wealthy man.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Just saying.
They're like, why didn't you argue with him? Like, dude,
Mhm.
like, no, our line of work, like, it's easier to comply than to argue. Like, I've had guys that we had the wrong guy. We didn't know we had the wrong guy, detaining him, all that. And they were compliant. They were cool. We figured out we had the wrong guy. Cool. We let him go. They were cool with it. We were cool with it.
Mhm.
But then we have, our suspect match the description and everything. And they're like, what are you stopping me for? Like, no. And they don't want to. And then it makes it harder for us. And then we got to get more aggressive. Like, it's easier if we just comply. And
I understand
on,
you
yeah.
comply,
Yeah.
whatever, but after the fact,
Yeah.
probably should have
after.
reported it and been like, dude,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah. So I was like, man, how many other guys he's stopping just to stop and then being that way with him? But because technically he didn't have enough to detain me.
Yeah.
'Cause now if he would have like a theft had just gone down or something just had happened and I was in the vicinity, okay, that works out. But
Yeah.
he was just patrolling and then just stopped me just to stop me. I'm like, yeah. But yeah.
Man. Yep.
Been the only time
better
this
man than me.
happened, though.
Well, we just started something on this last episode that we enjoyed. We're going to start doing a lightning round.
Okay.
So we're just going to ask quick questions, and you can go answer as short or go in as depth as you want to.
Cool.
It's 100% up to you.
Awesome.
And we'll just kind of take turns, whatever. But
Cool.
sorry. What is the first thing that you check when you start your shift?
First thing I check, other than my uniform and make sure my body camera's there, is my patrol car. In the back of our patrol car, we got an AED. We got a Redman helmet, which is whenever we arrest someone and they're very combative, they're smashing their head against the window and all that. It's a red foam helmet. We put on them and strap on so that whenever they bang their head, they're not hurting themselves or hurting any of our equipment. And then we've got cones in the back. We've got our spikes. We got our fire extinguisher. What else do we got? And we got flares. And so I always make sure all my equipment's back there in case I need it. Oh, and we have a medical bag that has extra tourniquets, chest seals, gauze, all that kind of stuff. That's usually for our trauma. Someone's getting shot, someone just got stabbed. We start, normally we beat the ambulance and fire truck there. So we don't have the best medical
Gotta give
experience,
aid if you
but
can.
we know how to use tourniquets, chest seals, the main stuff to get the bleeding to stop. So I check, make sure all my equipment's there. I turn on my radio. I scan certain channels. Channel 2 is my main channel. So that's the west side and the north side of town. And I'm a west side guy, so that's my channel.
West side.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I need a west side shirt.
Right.
Yeah.
And then channel 3 is the south side, east side of town. And then channel 4 is where we run people for warrants. Our TAC channel, we have TAC 1. That's where we just kind of conversate. Like, hey, if we're setting up an operation, we can actually have conversations and not take up radio time. Because we don't want to talk too much on channel 2 or 3, our main channels, because if someone's in a situation they need to get on the radio, we don't want to be taking up that space from them if it's an emergency. So that's our conversation channel. And then I scan Potter County and I scan DPS. And I'm glad I scanned Potter County because twice that I've scanned them, they've been in shootings. And so, and I hear it before our dispatch is even aware of it.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I check my radio, check the back of the car, make sure my equipment's good to go, make sure my lights work, my cameras turn on when they're supposed to, and basically just an equipment check is normally what I do first.
Yeah. All right. So I'm sure you've pulled over several, maybe, I guess it's probably in the hundreds, maybe 1,000 close.
Yeah, somewhere up there. Yeah, a bunch.
What's the craziest, the wildest excuse you've heard?
I don't know if you'd call it an excuse because it was true, but so I speed. I'll admit I speed, and so I don't give tickets for speeding, but I will stop you for speeding. And it's always going to be a warning as long as you're cool with me. And I caught a car going 70 and a 45.
Ooh.
And it's like, I'll stop him. I turn around and light him up. And it's this young looking kid, has a driver's license. I was really kind of surprised. He looked really young. And I was like, hey man, so what's the reason for speeding? And there's mom in the passenger seat and like a brother or sister in the back seat. And he's like, my mom just had a colonoscopy and she needs to go to the bathroom. And she is like this off the seat, trying to hold everything in. And I had a family member that recently had one. I'm like, oh, I know what comes with that. They gotta clean you out. And I was like, oh, like, hey man, here's your license. Get out of here, go. And he's like, thank you. And he sped off trying to find his mom a bathroom.
Man.
And
So it was a good legit excuse.
yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was legit. And I was like, and she had all the medical stuff there. And I was like, okay, but and I felt bad. I'm like, oh, I don't want her to poop herself right in front of me. So I'm like, hey, let's go. I'm trying to think of another excuse I've had. It wasn't really an excuse. And I ended up giving this guy a ticket for speeding. But I lit him up, turned on my lights and all that around 9th and Bell. No, I'm lying to you. 9th and Wallace by the hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't stop until Boulevard and about Kentucky, McMaster's area, which is a decent little drive.
Yeah.
And he finally stopped. I'm like, hey, I said, I turned on my lights way back there. Why didn't you stop earlier? He's like, I don't think I did anything wrong. I was like, well, you're speeding. He's like, no, I wasn't. And he sat there and argued with me. I was like, okay. So I wrote him a ticket. And of course, he just starts going off. And he's like, you're just finding a reason to stop me and give me a ticket. I'm like, dude, it was going to be a warning, but you drove from there. You drove at least a good 2-3 miles. And then you want to sit there and tell me you didn't do it. I have the radar like frozen to where it shows your speed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like, it's going to be a warning, but you want to sit there and argue and then tell me you did nothing wrong. I'm like, no, so you're going to get a ticket.
Yeah.
But normally people don't give me too many crazy excuses.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, I was speeding. They're like, oh, I wasn't paying attention to the speed limit. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, it's just going to be a warning, and their face just lights up like, really? I'm like, yeah. Well, I don't give tickets for speeding unless I feel like you really need it. But like, I'm an easygoing guy.
Yeah.
Ladies.
If you like to speed and you're looking for a man.
Now, you weren't talking about the drug speed, were you? Were you talking?
Hey, listen. Take it as you will. All right. What is the funniest thing you've ever heard come over the radio?
Oh. I think it was someone singing. One of our officers was singing, and I guess he hit. So our mics are kind of right below our computer, and sometimes if you have your leg propped up, it'll hit it.
Oh.
Or sometimes guys just like, I always have my hand on it just out of habit. So if I need it, I just grab. And I think they were keyed up on accident. Like, didn't even realize they had keyed up on the radio, and they were singing some song, and it's like, whoa.
Please tell me it was like Barbie Girl or something.
All the single ladies.
I don't remember the song. But another thing that we like to do to each other is when someone's keying up, let's say we're in Pakistan grabbing a drink or something, and someone gets a call and they key up to say that they acknowledge it and they're en route, we'll punch them in the gut. And so they, like, that air come out of them over the radio, and
So they go to answer and they're
yeah. Or we'll be in the car, what we call 25, and it's when one car's this way, one car's that way, and we're sitting there just talking, and they catch a call, and they'll key up and say that they're clear on it, and you'll just I'll like yell or scream or something, so you hear it in the background on the radio, and they start like, is everything 10-4? And they're like, yeah, and then they're all cussing me out. But yeah, we like to have a little fun with each other. Used to back in the day, because now our technology's gotten better. So if I key up, they know exactly who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Before then, you didn't know. So when I was a rookie, before we got all our updated equipment, guys would listen to the radio station and have their favorite song playing, and they would key up with their radio, crank up the actual radio, and their favorite song would be blasting all over the channel.
Yeah.
And you couldn't tell who was doing it. So they'd always just, hey, I need to stop that. That's unprofessional. But they couldn't get anyone in trouble because they didn't know who was keying up. Now you can. And so no one does it anymore. But
that's unfortunate.
And there was one time I just got in a fight with the guy. He tried he successfully took my taser. and turned it on, tried using it on me. And I beat the brakes off that guy, got my taser back and got him handcuffed. And he started banging his head on the window and kicking and all that. And I didn't realize I was still keyed. So I said, hey, I'm taking one to Potter County Jail. And I didn't realize I stayed keyed up. And I dropped the F-bomb on the radio. And and my sergeant dispatcher was like, are you 10-4? I was like, oh, shoot. I'm like, yeah. I'm fine. My sergeant came by. I was like, hey, man, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. He's like, all right, we heard you on the radio. I was like, oh, shoot. He's like, we've all done it. But I was like, I said, well, you effing quit? Or said, what's your effing problem? And I stayed keyed up, and everyone heard it. I was like, crap. But I'm not the only one, and I'm not the last one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, there's some interesting things that come over the radio.
Yeah. So if you weren't a cop, maybe you don't. Maybe it's just you were. This was plan A, and you never had a plan B. But if you weren't a cop, what would you be? Was there any?
You know, for the longest, and this is probably just my childhood, but plan B was a archaeologist.
Really?
I've always
Basically the same career. Makes sense.
I've always had a thing for history and historical things. I'm like, it'd be cool to dig up some stuff like Egyptian tomb stuff was really interesting. Guys finding artifacts in the ground like that, doing that kind of thing always interested me. And I love history. I've always loved history. That was my best subject in junior high and high school and college. And I was like, I've always wanted to kind of go down that route if that didn't work out. But then I realized there's a lot of science that goes into that. And I'm not good at math or science. And so I was like, I think being a cop would probably be the best option for me.
I bet you're good at science. I mean, if you're interested in something and I'm sure you know more than
And I've seen some of the science that's come out lately. Pretty much anybody can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, I think we're healing a little bit as a society, but I mean, the previous 10 years we haven't been able to tell the difference not tell the difference, but
we've been told that there's no difference between men and women.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad we're fixing that up because it's like, man, I don't want my kids to grow up in a society like that.
Mm-hmm.
But, it does say in the Bible, and I thought this as a kid, and I'm like, that's never going to happen. But we're seeing it now. It says, what's good will be considered evil, and what's considered evil will be considered good. It's like,
It's wild, isn't it?
but you see it now, like homosexuality is praised around here.
Yeah.
And
Yep. And
And all
monogamy is
Yeah.
considered
Yeah.
bad,
yeah.
Yeah.
marrying a woman. And
And I remember as a kid
That's it,
reading
Stan.
that verse, I'm like, that won't happen here. Maybe in some other country, but then,
Maybe in California, but not in
Yeah.
Texas.
but yeah,
But here we are.
Then here we are. Yeah.
man,
Well, sorry, I was looking at you because I thought you were next. What is the quickest ticket you've ever written?
Quickest ticket. Probably when we had paper ones because we have an electronic one and I'm not electronic.
Okay.
Like, I'm not technology savvy, but
Let me rephrase that. What was the reason you wrote a ticket that fast? Like, you're not walking up to me like, "Hey, what's your excuse for doing it?" It's like you're getting a ticket. That's the end.
probably a dude. He blew a stop sign at 6th and Independence, and 6th Street right there is busy.
Mm-hmm.
And where he blew that stop sign was a curve. And I was like, oh. And so he blew it right in front of me, and so I lit him up. And I already had it in my mind, that's going to be a ticket no matter what. And he wanted to argue with me. He's like, no, I stopped. I'm like, dude, I got the dash cam video. When I said that, he's like, oh. He's like, well, there was no cars coming. I'm like, I don't care. And I said, where are you going? He's like, I'm going to, he gave some school or some park. He said, my daughter's soccer game's going on. He's like, see, I got Gatorade in the back. And there was Gatorade in the back, but where he left and took off to was a complete opposite direction of where his daughter was going to be at. So I was like, no, he'll just give me some excuse that he needed to go to his daughter real fast. And so I was hoping I'd let him go. But it was blowing stop signs or red lights in front of me. That's usually, I'm like, I'm not going to argue that one. We're going to, because then I got to work that crash, or it's going to be, someone's really going to get hurt. And it's like, yeah, that's not worth it. Everything else I'll work with, like most of the time I'll give a ticket for no insurance, no registration, no driver's license. But some of these guys just got out of prison or just got out of jail, and they're trying to get back up on their feet. I'm not going to give them a ticket. They're trying to get back up on their feet. I'm not going to make them
Knock 'em
dish
down
out.
again.
Yeah. So I'll work with you on some things, but on something like that, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Bible verse that kind of keeps you grounded? That you, I don't know, maybe you meditate on it throughout the day, or you read it before you go on your shift, or maybe you don't have one that's in that particular scenario?
I do, and I have it all over my house, and this is very embarrassing, but I can't remember exactly what it is.
No, it's not.
But I think it's 1 Corinthians, 15:13. Let me double check. And it's one that I live by, and being the guy, the single guy on shift, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I'll put myself in more dangerous situations and remove someone else from there, because I'm like, you guys got a wife, you guys got kids. Your wife only has one husband. Your kids only have one dad. Like my parents, they got 3 other kids to choose from. Like you guys, y'all are it. One time we surrounded a house with a guy that was armed, and he was going to shoot it out with us. And they put me and one of my best friends, he was my partner at the time, in the front door. And we were expecting him to come out that door. And I think he had like a shotgun, a pistol. And so we were kind of like hanging out there. And they put my sergeant was like, hey, he's going to go first. You're going to go in second. And I thought about it. I'm like, no, I want to go in first, because the first guy's going to be the one that's probably going to get hit. Like, he's got 5 kids and a wife. I'm like, no. So I made him switch me. I'm like, here, I'll go first. I said, if I go down, use my body as a shield, get to cover and go from there. And thankfully nothing happened. We ended up getting the guy out without any issues. But if I can find.
Yeah, that's I'd like to think that I would do the exact same thing, but
I would like to think you would too. I'm the one with 5 kids. That's rough.
Yeah, I can't. Maybe it's 13, 15. It's greater love has no man than this, that he gives his life for his friend. That's my favorite verse. I've got it like 3 times. I have it in my living room, my bathroom, and I think in my bedroom, hung up. So that's
a good one.
1 Corinthians. I just can't remember. It's either 13. It's something.
Oh, dude,
You're all
no
right.
worries. I mean,
But yeah, that's my
I'm
favorite
terrible
verse.
at remembering
specific
specific
verse
verse
numbers.
and-
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's. I mean,
but that's one
we always paraphrase scripture on this show.
and that's my
just because our memories suck.
Yeah,
and that's my go-to, because I got to remember, I got to put my life first for that person or this person. I've got to, I got to take care of them first and then myself. And, they teach us that, like, they come first, your partner, if he's hurt, and then you. And, we have like a little order of who's more important than who. And so that's kind of my little reminder that I got to give myself away first before I take care of myself.
It's a tough mindset.
Yeah.
it's a good principle though, being just to be selfless.
Yeah.
It's good.
So, what situation in law enforcement is it the hardest to show grace in?
For me, domestic violence. I'm a stickler on it. Like, that's like kind of my thing, and that's from the way my dad raised me. He raised us boys like, we don't hit women. We take care of our ladies. You see someone hitting a woman, you better step in and do something with it. And it's hard to show grace to those guys after they had just beat up their wife or hit their kid. I mean, I believe in physical discipline for children, but there's a
limit.
There's a line, and sometimes it does get crossed, and we see that. But I think it's those guys, the domestic violence guys, that I have a hard time showing any grace to.
I think I would too. Yeah.
And yeah, I struggle with that because that's something that and my dad was really against domestic violence because he watched his mom get beat growing up. My grandpa would, old school Hispanic, wife didn't do something, you hit her, and he watched that. And I think when my dad was a sophomore in high school, my dad and my uncles were huge. They were national, and one of my uncles was international powerlifters. And so they had muscles. They were big guys. And I think when my dad was a sophomore, he picked up my grandpa, threw him up against the wall, said, "You touch my mom again, that's going to be it." And,
Good for him.
I found out later the beating didn't stop, but when my dad and uncles were around, my grandma never got touched. But whenever they moved out of the house, it continued. I found out late, actually over the summer, I found that out.
Yeah.
But it took my dad, who was the middle son, not the oldest, but the middle, to stand up to my grandpa for it to at least slow down for my grandma. And my grandpa ended up being an alcoholic, and that's what killed him. My dad doesn't like domestic violence. He doesn't drink, doesn't do nothing of that because of how he grew up.
Yeah.
That's
Witnessing
very
it.
similar to my dad. You know, like his dad was an alcoholic, beat his mom all the time, and he's
Passive.
yeah, and he stayed away from. Doesn't drink. He'll have a beer like once in a blue moon kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
very rare. But yeah, very similar situation. And to go back on the, I don't think it's a Hispanic thing, man. I think it was more of a cultural thing
Back then,
that,
yeah.
you know, I mean, my white grandpa,
It wasn't as frowned upon back then.
yeah, yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I'd say domestic violence suspects are hard to
yeah,
give any grace to.
Yeah.
And I find myself being short with them. If they'll start asking me, trying to talk, and I'm real short, I cut it off, and I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. And so that's, and I know I don't need to be that way, but it's hard not to.
yeah. Well, it's probably best that way because you don't want to say something you're going to regret, or
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
So, I'm
You done?
out of questions. If you got any
I've
for
got one more, and this is a special one from Kiefer.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, great.
he just said, "Do you ever catch any hell at work because of your stature?"
Oh, by coworkers or by suspects?
by coworkers.
Okay.
Oh, I'm assuming coworkers.
Okay.
It may be suspects.
I'll say I catch it from everybody, even random people. But yeah, I get made fun of at work all the time. 'Cause I'm 5'3", about 160, 165. I'm not a big guy. And yeah, my coworkers give me all sorts of crap, saying that they are going to get me some a booster seat or a phone book so I can see over the wheel.
Yeah.
I get it all the time. And there's this crackhead I used to deal with all the time. Her name was Catherine. I'm not going to say her last name, but they called her Cat. I called her Cat. I called her by her street name too. I just got so used to her. And one time we were I used to like physically have to fight her boyfriend. I'd arrested her a bunch of times. And one time, I forgot why we were at her house, but we were there for something. And she tried shutting the door on me, and I put my foot in the way of the door to make sure it didn't get shut because we were probably going to have to barge in. And she's like, "You stupid little leprechaun fuck." And I was like, and my buddies looked at me and they laughed, and I laughed. I was like, I can't even get mad at that. I'm like, I've never had anyone call me that. And it kind of made my day. I was like, I got to write that one down. And then just last week I was walking into work, and it was just some older white couple just going into the police department for something. And the guy turns around and looks at me. He's like, "I don't know, they make cops that small." And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "They make us in all shapes and sizes." He's like, "Huh." Like, "There's no height limit?" I was like, "No, sir." He's like, okay. And he just kept on walking. I was like, dang, I'm getting roasted by an old man. But yeah, I get it from random people, just regular citizens, suspects, coworkers, everybody. Yeah, but
you may have said this, and I may have forgotten, or if you did say it, I did forget. How long have you been in the force?
8 years.
8 years. Okay.
Well, I started the academy June 1st of 2017, so that's usually when I count it. But that was 6 months, and then I hit the streets right after that. So
Yeah.
about 7.5 on the streets, 8 at the department. So
yeah. Okay. It just wasn't clear if we had asked that question or
I
not.
I don't think we
did.
had. Mhm. No, yeah,
Well, we're still learning.
Yeah.
How to ask questions.
Yeah.
no, no. That's
What are
good.
questions?
Yeah, but no, it's nice though, because I was shot at back in 2018, and I laugh about it, but I'm like, it's nice being short because people look to shoot at regular sized people, and then they see me, and it goes right over my head.
Yep. That's
I'm like, and there's times like we're walking, trying to sneak up on a house, and there's branches hanging down. I'm just walking, and these guys are all dipping and trying not to get hit in the head, and I just walk straight, and I don't have to worry about nothing hitting my head.
see
So it has its perks.
right.
I do find it kind of funny that you gave the demonstration, like when they shoot at you and you held your hand like this.
Oh, yeah.
That just tells you the kind of people that you're dealing with.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're holding the gun
gangster
sideways.
shooting, yeah. Yeah, the gangster shooting.
Yeah.
Man. Any other questions for lightning round?
No, I think that was it.
Okay. Well, I got to ask these questions because I'm the crazy person, and I like to talk about the supernatural.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
So, you did kind of cover a little bit some of the things that you experienced, and you mentioned the ghost and possible super strength at times.
Mhm.
Is there any other scenarios where maybe it was a demonic feeling that you could feel or smell? I've heard situations where the room or the area could smell like sulfur with this demonic possession. Is there anything that you have experienced that was just you could not explain?
There's I've never smelt anything, but there's times that I'm like, me and my buddies, my police officer buddy in Canyon, because we're both Christians, we go to church, and we're both police officers, and we've talked about it, like how many times do we mistake these mental health and drugs, and we're saying that's what's going on when it's actually demon possession. And actually, when I didn't break, when this guy broke my thumb, we thought he was high. He might have been, I don't know. He was definitely not in the right mind, and his eyes were black, and he had that super strength, and he grabbed my thumb and snapped it back, like all the way backwards, and that's how I broke my thumb.
Man.
And
How big was he?
he wasn't big. He was about a 20-year-old,
Yeah.
maybe 5'7", 5'8", 200 and maybe 50-pound guy.
And just snapped it. Hardly any effort.
Yeah, and I was still trying to fight. I mean, it was 3 of us fighting this guy, and we had to call in more guys to finally take him down. But I remember pulling up. What happened was on Father's Day, and this family was having their Father's Day barbecue out in the front yard, and this guy picked up rocks, started throwing them at them, and they called it in like, "Hey, can y'all do something about this?" And I remember this guy was walking down the street, and I see him, and just by the way I saw his look and his demeanor, I'm like, this is going to be a fight. Like, we're going to fight this guy. And usually only 2 of us are sent there, but 3 of us, we're down the street from a pack sack. We're grabbing a drink, and the third guy's like, I'll just roll with you guys, see what you got. And I'm glad he did, because we needed that third guy. Because it got out of hand. The second we got there, it was on. And but his eyes were black, and
That's
he
what I
just
was
had
going to
that.
ask. Is there drugs that will cause your eyes to go black like that, or is that because that doesn't sound natural?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, it might be a side effect, but I'm not aware of what drug or how that happens. But like, his eyes were black, and that dude is unstoppable. It took us a second to finally get him down and handle that. And over there, maybe it was in March, there's a house I went to. This old lady just kept calling. She's like, I need y'all to get these people out of my house. They keep trespassing. And me and my buddy checked the house. She's like, look, there they are. And she'd point at things that weren't there. And we're like, oh, this lady's just crazy. It's like, no, it's like, I hear their feet running up and down. And it's like, and they keep telling me, like, she's telling us what they're telling them. And the hairs on my arm stood up. I'm like, and I told my buddy, I'm like, dude, I think this is bigger than what we think it is. I said, it could be demons in this house. And this lady has no idea it's that.
Yeah.
And the fact that I got the hairs on my arm standing up, like that's probably a sign that something's not right in that house. And I did not want to go back. Ended up going to the house twice that day. And I did not want to go back. I'm like, I don't want to be near that. So I've experienced that firsthand because I was stupid and liked to experiment with that when I was younger. And it's like, I don't, that's not something I want to touch on. That's not something I want to get involved with. Like, and thankfully she didn't call again, or she did. Someone else answered the call, but the way she was talking and the way she was saying things, I'm like, she was like pointing them out. It's like, yeah, there's that guy there, that woman there, this, and for her it was real. I'm like, she's probably seeing something we're not. And so, and even, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
That ghost story I told you guys, I'm like, me and my buddies were like, what if it's like demons in that house? And because there's like, what, because it was a normal younger family. And they're like, we hear people up in the attic. I'm like, I said, it could be something like that's going on. But I was like, as cops, what do we do about that? You know?
Yeah.
It's like, and we even told them like, hey, you may want to talk to a pastor or have them come, check the house out and do something like that. Because I'm like, I can't do nothing for you.
I've wondered for a long time about that same thing. These people that we diagnose as psychotic or crazy or whatever, and we're treating them with pharmaceuticals when it could very possibly be demon possession.
Yeah.
But the American society doesn't take that very seriously.
Yeah.
As a Christian, I do, and there's a lot of Christians that don't take it very seriously. But I very much believe in that.
Yeah.
And it just terrifies me that it's being treated with pharmaceuticals. You see these people that never get cured.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything for them.
And it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Sam? I cut you off.
No, I would be remiss if I didn't probe a little bit because you mentioned.
You had to use probe?
Yes, I did. You like that? You said you experimented with some things when you were younger.
Yeah, so I was a janitor for 5 years, from 8th grade all the way up until I graduated high school. And then even then, that summer before college, I was a janitor at the school I went to. And they always said the school was haunted. We had a new gym and an old gym. And they said the old gym was haunted by this guy that was a really great basketball player that he went to fly on a plane to go get a sign with the college. And then he came back and the plane crashed near the school. They said our auditorium was haunted. And so me and a buddy of mine, we both worked there, and we were just being stupid. Like, oh, if you're a real ghost, come and do this and that. And nothing was ever happening. And then one day we were doing it, and I heard like thumps in the old gym, like sounds like it was just us in the school. No one else was
Thumps
there.
like a basketball or like somebody hitting something?
Like someone like stomping around.
Okay.
And I was like, But then I kind of thought nothing of it. I'm like, it's probably just creaking and I'm just overthinking things. And then one time we're in the auditorium and we're doing the same stuff. Like, hey, if you're a ghost in here, do this. And all of a sudden the auditorium curtains started swaying. We were on the opposite side of the auditorium. There was no reason for it to be swaying, and it just started swaying and moving. And then we heard like what sounded like a hollow pipe fall and hit the ground in the bathrooms in the back. And it's a concrete floor, and the only thing back there is a bathroom. So we went and checked. No pipe, nothing fell. Everything was in order, but we both heard it fall and like bounce, and we didn't see anything. And then when I was a freshman in college, me and my roommate were watching YouTube videos of La Llorona, which is like a ghost in Mexico. We're watching ghost stories, all sorts of stuff like that. And we're just bored and just doing it. Well, then another buddy of mine, he's like, hey, man, let's go to Ossops. There's an Ossops down from our campus. I'm like, yeah, let's go. And my roommate's like, I'm just going to stay here. I want to use the bathroom and shower and then probably go to bed. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, we're walking out and we're already out of the dorm and walking across the grass. And my roommate calls me. He's like, dude, are you making that noise? I'm like, what noise? It's like, I don't know. It's like, y'all are making some noise in the room. I'm like, dude, we're outside. And I look up to where my room's at and I see the blinds going up and going down. I was like, are you in the bathroom? He's like, yeah. I was like, I'm still in the bathroom. I said, dude, our blinds are moving. And he's like, all right, I'll check it in a little bit. And I thought he was just screwing with me with the lights off. And my buddy continued walking to Allsups. And it wasn't about 30, 45 seconds later, my roommate calls screaming, crying. He's like, dude, you need to come back. You need to come back. There's things flying around in our room. And I go to the room and it's tore up. Nothing was fine at the time when I got there. I never got to witness that, but everything was scattered. Papers, books, everything. And he's like, and he was shaking, and I could tell it was legit. He was really scared. And I'm like, crap. I'm like, you know what? Cancel Allsups. We're just going to call it a night, go to bed. And my buddy that I was going to Allsups with was like, hey, here's this pen. I'll put it on your desk. I want to put all this other stuff on that pen. If that pen moves, you know something's wrong. I said, all right, cool. So me and my roommate go to bed. We're laying there for about 20 minutes, and I hear something fall, which my roommate was notorious for. We had bunk beds. Like, he was on one side, I was on the other side, but you can adjust the height of the bed. And he was notorious for dropping his phone. And I was like, did you drop your phone? He's like, no. So I shine my little flashlight, and that pin is in the middle of the room. Nothing else has moved. And I was like, I got scared. I started shaking. I'm like, all right, I'm done. We're out. So the guy I was going to Allsups with, I call him like, hey, can we stay in your room tonight? He's like, yeah. So we stay in his room. And his dad was a pastor, and he called one of his other pastor buddies. They went into our room, and apparently we let in 2 demons by watching those videos.
Mm-hmm.
See, that stuff terrifies me like that.
Yeah.
Because you open your door to it.
Yeah. And
Unintentionally or not.
Yeah.
Since that day, I don't watch any scary movies that have anything with demon possession, demonic. I cut all that out. I don't watch any of that because,
yeah.
And when my friends, they want to watch a scary movie, and I feel bad, but I'm like, it's a movie like that, I'll leave. I'm like, I'm not going to open myself up to that again. I've experienced it. I want no part of it.
Yeah.
And I've never been so scared in my life, but I was like, this is real, and this is out of my control. And the pastors, they said that our demons, whenever they're trying to cast them out of the room, went to a separate room, and so they had to go to that guy's dorm room and clean it out of there. And it's just like, wow. Not only did we put ourselves in danger, but we put someone else in a situation that they didn't even ask to be in. And so, yeah, I quit dealing with that stuff. But I know it's real. Yeah. I know it's there, and it's scary.
Yeah. Well, to plug a future show here in a couple of weeks, we're going to interview someone that deals directly with situations like that.
Oh, wow.
And so, stay tuned.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Man.
that's about all I got, Mr. Jesse. If there's anything,
No, I think we're good. We're right at our normal mark.
Cool.
about 2 hours.
Yeah.
Hey, not bad. It didn't even feel like 2 hours.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. Felt like.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a smooth one.
Yeah. That was cool.
Man,
Angel, we really appreciate you taking
man.
time and staying awake long enough to come join us.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
anytime. I appreciate you guys inviting me to do this. So,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And ladies,
Yeah. Don't forget that.
just saying.
All right.
All
man.
right.
We'll talk to y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.